The PC Gamer article is true. Darktide is receiving branching, RPG-like skill trees for all existing classes, and I got the chance to play with them. I'm unable to talk about my entire experience with the playtest, but I wanted to make a video and talk about what I can say, because this overhaul to the class system is genuinely fantastic and will inherently change how we approach and play Darktide. Recording wasn't allowed during the test, so I sadly have no footage, but I think what I can say is sufficient enough to get people excited about the future of Darktide. If you're unsure what I'm talking about, PC Gamer recently released an article that revealed that Fatshark is entirely reworking the class system of Darktide. Namely, they are stepping away from the 3-choice talent tree of Vermintide and expanding it with a fully customizable and branching skill tree. Each class will have its own unique skill tree that has 3 main branches, one which holds the current existing options for that class, and the other 2 introducing entirely new passive and active ability options. For instance, the current Blitz ability for Psyker is Brain Burst, and the current Combat ability is Psychonetic's Wrath. You'll be able to find these 2 abilities within the skill trees to use if you want, but you'll also be able to find a plethora of other abilities to use between the 3 total branches of Psyker, including a deployable shield made from warp energy, heat-seeking force shards, force lightning, and many more. Quick side note, but one of the options for Ogryn is called Big Friendly Rock, whose entire shtick is that they're literal rocks that Ogryn throws that recharges over time, but the sound design on them is so goofy and silly, and I love them with all my heart. All of these abilities will be grouped into 3 main branches, but the important thing to note about these branches is that they are shorter than the 30 talent points that you get to spend, meaning that you are not only encouraged but expected to dip into other branches and experiment with different kinds of builds. You're able to dip into the other branches as little or as much as you want, so the sky is the limit when it comes to build variety and expression. The skill trees are fantastic because they allow for many different kinds of playstyles to be supported. You'll no longer be forced into specific roles as a character, or be left asking questions like, what's the point of Gunpsyker when staffs exist? Because the skill tree supports almost every kind of build you can run for characters. This also means that having multiple characters of the same type on a team is no longer an issue, as you can diversify their builds and cover for every role that the team needs. You can easily play 4 Psykers and have 1 hard crowd control tank, 1 horde clearer, and 2 ranged and elite killers, or any combination of those choices, and you can do this with all careers. I really can't express how excited I am about these changes because of the freedom of choice for builds. The 3 talent row system we had before this didn't allow for any freedom due to there often being an obviously superior choice for each row, but with the skill tree system we will actually get to make meaningful choices between builds, as every path and branch will be viable to play with, no matter how far you choose to go down them. Don't get me wrong though, a meta for builds will develop eventually, as people always love to optimize things within video games, but the gap between meta and non-meta will diminish enough so that people won't feel the need to run the meta 24/7 to be useful to their team. Every path and every combination of skills is viable and meaningful, so you can feel free to experiment until your heart's content. Something else that's noteworthy to point out is that originally we were supposed to get a new subclass per quarter, which means that we should have had about 3 or 4 of them in the game by now. With skill trees, the effective subclass count for each career is tripled, with 2 new subclasses per character, totaling 8 new subclasses in total that are all entirely free of charge. The exact release date for skill trees is currently unknown, but it most likely will release at some point in October. What do you think about these changes? Let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and see y'all next time.